Hello, welcome to SRP Tutorials. Today we're going to be covering the Pro Cut series wheel well templates. The templates are basically go from a 1/32 scale, which is a .008, to a 1/24 scale, 1.15. So you can use it either on a 1/32 scale or your 1/24 scale. This kit pretty much covers everything that you're going to need. All the bodies that are on the table have been cut with the Pro Cut series. We'll get into a little tutorial here to give you an idea of the tools that you're going to need and how to go about it. The tools that you're going to be needing for the Pro Cut series, you're going to basically need a good sharp X-Acto knife, a scissors, a Sharpie, fine tip preferably. I like the Parma pen. It's got the extra fine tip and a fine tip on it. If you're doing styrene, pencils actually work better. If you're doing Lexan, use an ink marker. A caliper to measure with, some sort of a straight edge to draw a straight line. You can use a ruler. I have a piece of brass here. Rotary tool with a wooden router bit in it. Masking tape, the chassis that you're going to use and the body that you're going to use, make sure that they line up and on the width they're accurate. You need to get some axles that are about a ½ inch wider than the widest part of the body. That's going to be where the tires are going to be mounted. You can use a rubber band, which most people have around their house, or the little silicone fuel tube works awesome too. 220 sandpaper to do a kind of final sand out, and then the templates themselves, a level block, setup block, or just a level piece of wood, and a drill and a drill bit, and that'll be basically to mount your body, the body mount holes. So let's get to it. Okay, basically to get started with, like I said, you're gonna have to pick your body out and then get a flat level block. What we're going to do now is we're going to set the stance of the car, the way we want the car to look after the body's completely mounted, which a lot of people kind of lose track of what they're trying to do everything at one time. So you got to do the stance of the car very first. I'll do a tutorial on a 1/24 with one of David's Dirt Cars bodies, and we'll do a trick setup and it'll look pretty sweet. But for this one, we're just going to do a straight setup. So basically, you're going to have a flat block, and then put your pencil down, and basically what we're going to do is we're just going to scribe a line across the whole bottom of the car here, and this will be a flat, smooth, level body mount. Basically, you're going to want to just go around the car. This don't have to be super fancy, just kind of a quick deal here. This gets us line. So basically, you went around all 4 sides or 3 sides, and then we'll go ahead and trim that out, and then we'll be back. Now that we got the bottom trimmed off, the skirting trimmed off the body, it's sitting pretty flat all the way around. We're happy with the way it looks. The next thing we're going to do is basically get our chassis that we're going to be using. Like I said, you want to have the axles so they're a little bit wider than what the body are, so that they actually stick out past the width of the car. So basically what we're going to do is just basically stick the front axle in place, as well as the rear axle. Depending on it's kind of different for each body setup. You want to end up aligning either the front or the rear axle, and that pretty much sets where the chassis is going to ride on the body. If you have any specific rules or anything like that, we got to take that into consideration at this point. We're going to basically set the what we're doing is we're setting the axles up into the body. So we want to have the axles extend up just a little bit past where the side of the chassis is. So it's basically going to be really flush, something along that lines. Like I said, you can use rubber bands. I like using these RC fuel lines. They're made out of rubber silicone. They slide on, holds it nice and tight, nice and secure. Like I said, you can use rubber bands too. Will work fine. So what we're going to do now is we'll basically take this and line this up off of the, I want to have the front wheel opening just about basically where the center of this is here on this front groove. And then back here we're basically just going to transfer a little line right back in this area here. And we want to notch this out with our rotary tool so that the axle will actually fit through there. We want to do this, just basically do the exact same thing, transfer it over to the other side, and then we'll do that, and then we'll come back and show the next step. Now that basically we've routed took the Dremel, the rotary tool, and just basically kind of made some notches up, just so that we have the clearance here so that the axles will actually fit through the body. So once you get to that point, I'm going to try to do it so my hands are out of the way here. So you want to have the, like I said, for this particular one, we want to have the axle in line with the front skirt right here. And then what we're going to try to do is make a little hole, a little mark here, right where we're going to have our two body mounts right here. So we'll take and use the drill and the drill bit, so it's the size of whatever mounting hole. If you're going to use a pin tube, you can just use a candle and heat up the end of your pin, or just stick your pin through there. You can stick your pin in the end of the drill too. Basically, we're going to do transfer the same thing over to the other side. We got the notches here, so again, we'll basically just repeat on the other side, do the same thing, and then we'll come back and I'll show you the next step. Okay, basically I went through, like I said, I basically transferred the holes to both sides, got the body mount. I got looking at it, and the size of the tire I'm going to run, it actually makes it kind of look like it's riding real high, as you can kind of tell here. So what I'm going to end up doing, which isn't a big deal, is I'm going to end up taking off about another 1/8 inch around here. So I'm going to basically kind of backstep, basically just repeat everything I've done up to this point, just to show you that it's not something that you're locked in on when you're doing this. So I'm going to kind of back out for a second here, trim the body down to where I actually want the stance to be. I was a little higher in the front than I cared for, and then we'll come back in, and then we'll actually get the templates on there and then show you where we're at from there. Okay, I've trimmed it down. Like I said, I took off about another 1/8 inch. You can still kind of see the body marks here, but once we get the graphics on there, you won't even be able to tell the difference. So on your templates, like we said, we'll go from 0.8 to 1.1. So basically that'll cover anything from the smaller 1/32 scale up to the bigger silicone for the 1/24 guys. So we got you covered in this kit pretty much all the way around. On this particular build, I think we're probably going to go with something, I'm not for sure. I mean, we can always start small, we can always go bigger. That's one kind of nice thing about the template kit. Once you have the body mounted to this point, the templates will actually just fit on there. So if you cut it smaller or decide it's the wrong size, so basically just kind of slide like I said, you have the additional sticking out there, slide your tire on there, see if it looks like it's going to be okay. It has the right look to the opening. So that's the size we're gonna go with. So take and get your caliper out here, measure, see what this gets to be. So it's a rough, we're at this one's 870, so we're gonna go with a 9. So that'll be this size right here, the third one up. So basically what we're gonna do is basically just slide our template basically right over the axle. It's kind of a little snug fit there to make sure that it's trying to do it so you can see and I can see at the same time. Like I said, these are basically reusable, so just make sure when you're done with them, you put them back on the sheet there. They get a little adhesive backing on there. So basically that's kind of, this is going to be the ground clearance. The body is going to be flush with the bottom of the pan, so whatever your chassis clearance is basically what is going to be determined by your tire. So once they're on there, just give them a little bit of a kind of like a little pressure, have them fit down on there. So basically you're going to take your pencil or your Sharpie and just basically kind of trace out where to trim them out at. So this one here is going to be a little bit more of a challenge. It's not a big deal because of the difference on the height. We're just kind of get it so it's close. We may have to do a little eye on, a little eyeball or freehand deal here. So basically that's it. Like I said, take your template, just basically place it back on the thing. And if they're reusable, you can get probably, I don't know, 10 to 20 wheel wells out of each one of these. So I mean, there's more than enough. It's a lifetime supply. So basically now your wheel wells are exactly in the center with your axle. It's already mounted on there. I can dismount the body, remount it, and it's always going to be lined back up. If by chance you want to run a little bit bigger diameter tire, you want to start smaller, you could have started with the 8.5, but we're at almost 8.7 to start with. So this is going to be the right size. So basically to do this, it's up to you. You can do it a number of different ways. I don't ever recommend using a curved pair of scissors. It gets really choppy, and then basically what happens is when you make the cut, every time you start and you stop, it gets these little frays in there. You can do it that way. You just spend a bunch of time sanding. The other thing is when you do it, take a pass and take about 80% on the first time, and then kind of come back, and you almost want to leave just that line right there, and then you'll sand right up to that line, so it'll be a nice smooth finish all the way around. There won't be no rough edges. Styrene as well as Lexan bodies, if there's any little perforated edge, if you're cutting and you cut it at a 90-degree angle, it tends to tear right there, so we want to eliminate that. We want to have everything have nice rounded edges. I'm going to take a break right here, and we'll basically pull the body off, and I'll show you how to actually trim that out with the rotary tool. Like I said, quick overview. Variable speed rotary tool. This is a wooden router bit, works real well. This one's a little dull, so it'll have little burrs on the end of it. Like I said before, you want to take about 80% on the first pass, open the hole up as so you can get in there with the tool and get around, and then we'll kind of come back and make a close pass to the line, and then we'll do a finish sand out to get it right up to the line. So once it starts running, I ain't gonna be able to talk. It's a little hard to have you see and me see at the same time there, so like I said, we want to get up as close as we can to the line without actually going. I bumped it a few times here, but just so you have the wheel well there, just take a piece of your 220, tear it off, kind of wrap it around your finger, curve it, and then basically just come back through, and then you can kind of feel the high spots on your finger. So once you just keep going around until it feels nice and smooth, you don't feel any high spots. Something like that, and then take and put your wheel up in there, and it's almost a perfect fit. It's probably a little bit better if I can kind of see what I'm doing, but to have both of us kind of doing it at the same time. Basically, so that's basically all it takes, and then you can kind of do a little bit of the trim work if you want to. I kind of like having these taper up to the front a little bit rather than coming straight down. Just makes it look a little cooler, I think. But that's basically it. So just basically repeat that in all four of the wheel wells. Like I said, just cut up to as close as you can to the line, and then do a final sand. It doesn't take much sanding with the sandpaper, but that's basically kind of it in a nutshell. That gives you a quick overview of the Pro Cut wheel well templates. Like I said, you can do them on a 1/32 scale to a 1/24 scale. They're super fast, super easy. They're only $5. Go to racesrp.com and get yours today.